look how far we've come, all the things we've done, did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view, but there's nothing more, girl, you make my heart beat.
Grand Rising Family.
I just short-circuited.
And try it again.
No, leave it. Hi, guys.
We just recorded an episode where we were reading things off of our phone. So maybe this week's episode will be us wearing the same thing in both things, which will make clips really confusing. Go
yes,
us.
beautiful.
Go us. Didn't plan that out very well, I guess. But
Yeah.
we're going to do emails now that we just spent an hour having conversation stuff. It was fun.
I am going to tell a story.
Okay.
Did I tell you what our daughter did with the trash can?
No.
So I bought us this new trash can. Our old trash can was gross and musty, and I'm tired of cleaning it. And I got us a new fancy trash can. It was $80 on Amazon, and you just wipe your hand in front of it, and it whoop. I was like, oh, nice. And the children came home, and they liked the new trash can. They were messing with it. And then our daughter taught me that if you push the pictures of the open and close button, it just opens it and it stays open instead of the timer to automatically close again.
Which means she's just walking around randomly pushing buttons.
Yeah, but we learned something from that one.
We don't do that as adults, though, because we're
You're
afraid
right.
we're going to break something.
That's true.
Yep.
Holy guacamole.
That's the suppression of the creative mind.
Yeah. So she did that, and she taught me something about the trash can. I was like, all right, neat. I'm used to this. And then the other day I was cooking. So here's the stove, refrigerator, trash can. And the stove is in the way of the trash can, so I can't see what's happening over there. And her daughter came into the kitchen, and she was like, hi, Mommy. And I was like, hi, Sweet Pea. And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, throwing this away. I was like, okay. Goes to the trash can. I hear the whoop, the thing opening and it closing. She goes, Mommy, you can open it with your foot. And I was like, what do you mean you can? I was like, can you, what did you do? I was like, is there a foot? I was like, wait till I can.
She kicked over it, didn't she?
I was like, wait till I'm done doing what I'm doing. Because I needed to step away from the stove. I was imagining like a foot pedal or like a side button where
she
you like
kicked over it, didn't she?
She roundhouse kicked trash can. I don't know why I expected anything different.
That's funny. I knew exactly where that was going.
Yep.
I would have done the same thing as a kid.
That's exactly what happened.
Yesterday when we were at the that plant store that had the giant pond and the alligator in it.
Yeah.
If you are in Florida or you are visiting Florida, if you see a body of water, even a swimming pool, assume there's an alligator in there.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a body of water that is not a swimming pool and it's not salt water, there is an alligator in there.
Mm.
And if you're, in the Everglades, there could be crocodiles in the actual water. So like oceans have sharks and possibly crocodiles, and we have alligators in every body of water here.
Yes.
They do sometimes end up in swimming pools. They end up on people's porches, like
garages.
Yeah. Godzilla's cousin is comfortable here.
Mm.
And so they know, like, don't fuck with the alligators. If you keep a distance, like, be safe. And they found a little baby alligator. It was maybe, 4 feet, little guy. And from head to tail, little guy, not, body with the tail. I walked by. We were, we all had our little moment looking at it. It was cool. And they were standing there still, and we were looking at plants, and I turned around and they were throwing things into the water. They had to have been 15 feet from. So anyways, we're at this nursery, and they're throwing things into the water. And like, I got really, really mad because they're putting themselves in danger. This little 4-foot alligator is not going to charge them, but they don't know that. And they're not thinking about that. They're trying to see what happens. And I understand the curiosity of the creative mind. And then I thought about, well, what if they hit that thing with a stick or a rock and it like hits them in the eye? Like, they're going to hurt this thing, right? Creature,
Yeah.
like, don't do that. Then we had a whole lot of discussions in like the safety aspect and the fact that it could bite them and could drag them underwater. And like, we had a very long discussion about all of the things that could happen. And I told them when they got home, they were going to be in a whole lot of trouble. And we were about an hour from the time that it happened until the time that we got home. And I believe in correcting things right there in the moment, not an hour or 2 hours later.
Right.
And I was like, I pulled little man aside. I'm like, do you understand why you're in trouble? And he was like, he said yes. And he basically just regurgitated everything that I had said back to me. And I was like, since you understand,
From an hour prior?
Yeah. I was like, since you understand, you're not in trouble. I was like, I'm disappointed in you for what you did, but I understand that like you get it. So there's no point in me harping on you anymore or punishing you for it. You didn't hurt the alligator. There was a whole lot of possibility that you could have. You understand. And he said, yes. I said, what did you think was going to happen by doing that? And he said, I don't know. And I said, then why were you doing it? He said, I don't know. And I was like, you're not in trouble. We've already established that you're not in trouble. I was like, did you want to see what would happen if you hit the water or if you hit the alligator? And he said, yeah. He's like, I was just doing it to do it. I don't know. I remember being 7 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, and just doing shit to do it. I remember throwing rocks at things in the water to see if it would run or what would happen when it happened. That is the mindset of doing the ninja kick over the garbage can to see if it would open. That's the mindset of pushing buttons to see what happens. They are pushing buttons, so to speak, to see what will happen.
Yeah.
And they were both doing it. And though neither one of them got hurt, the possibility of them getting hurt was there. The possibility of them hurting the creature was there. And that's where my frustration came in. And in that hour-long drive or time from the time it happening until the time that we got home, I was able to remember what it was like to want to see what would happen when things happen. And having that understanding of I just want to know what will happen, that curiosity has to be satiated because it's how we learn.
Right.
And I can allow them to figure those things out. Because if we weren't there and I didn't see it, they would have thrown the things in the water and it would have charged them or it would have swam away. Fuck around and find out would have been prime example of the moment. And I need to clarify that the kids were not close to an alligator. They were probably 15 to 25 feet away.
Oh, yeah,
and it was down a hill in a pond. So like, it's not like it was 5 feet from them. They were safe, but those things still run very quickly.
Yeah.
And like, I want them to have a healthy fear of nature, of things that could eat them. So that curiosity is there. And I want the kids to continue to be curious. And I don't want to take away their trial and error of things, because when you lose the want to do things through trial and error, you stop trying because, well, I just don't think it's going to work. So I'm not going to try.
Right.
I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of what will happen if I throw that rock. Like, I want them to still have that curiosity and the want to figure it out on their own and the want to learn. So I had a huge learning lesson yesterday where I was able to dial back you were in danger. That was in danger because of what you were doing, and like have a conversation. And then I had it again with her afterwards and they both retained all the information.
You can't say they don't listen.
I can say they don't listen because every time in the moment I'm like, what did I say? They can't repeat it back to me. So I don't know if it was because there was a time frame there or because I was really fucking angry when I was talking to them about it while we were at the nursery and they knew it. But they will, when they think the conversation's over, they want to 15-second attention span. It is what it is. They don't listen to me though. For the most part, they don't listen to either one of us. They're kids still, you know. That disassociating and the disconnecting when you are not enjoying the conversation or you feel like you're being in trouble is normal. I did it all the time when I was a kid. My parents would have to do the same thing. What did I say? I have no fucking idea what you said because I wasn't listening. You're yelling, but I wasn't yelling, you know?
Right.
I don't know. Anyways.
You ready to jump into this email?
Sure.
This is a husband and wife POV.
Is this the one that we just read?
No.
Oh, we have another one? This will be our third couple right in.
Yep.
Love that.
Unbiased opinions, his and her POV. Dear Chris and Peach, I write to you today in search of an unbiased opinion. My husband and I are struggling to communicate with each other. There are a few other things, however, this one is the most important to me. He and I are both 30 years old and have been together for almost 5 years. We have no plan to be married in the eyes of the government. For some background, we are both products of abusive households. I suffer from CPTSD, OCD, major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety, trauma-induced amnesia, and the daily struggle with my autism, not including my physical health problems.
What are you doing to fix all of that? Because she said suffers from. I don't suffer from my ailments. I live with them. Right? Like I have a whole lot of shit that's wrong with my brain and my body, and I don't suffer from it.
Right. We cope with it.
You cope, or you learn to you learn new mechanisms to, you know, address the things that are going on. So that's the first thing I want to address. You have all of these things and you have names for all of it. And you're still allowing it to make you suffer in life instead of owning it.
Right.
And finding ways to make it your bitch.
I personally have been debating on emailing due to being unable to distinguish what is too much information and what is too little. If I cross the line at any point, please tell me. However, having listened to 8 episodes of the podcast and watched a few of the TikToks, I know you have no problem telling me where and when I go wrong, which I appreciate.
A whole 8 episodes, huh?
Yeah.
You got a long way to go.
Oh, yeah. 3 years worth.
Yep. We put out 104 episodes a year for Monday, Friday content, plus all the bonus content that we were doing in the first year. It's crazy to think about.
Wow. I apologize ahead of time if this email is all over the place. And will also be writing his point of view at the end of mine. Our history, we are actually high school sweethearts. And joined my high school in his junior year, I think, and I was in my sophomore. He was a year ahead due to good academics in his previous high school. Due to amnesia, I do not remember most of my childhood. In fact, I don't remember much of my adolescence at all. I have been told that I was not a very good person at all in high school. I was manipulative and abusive. A few people who knew me then have also told me these things. From what I was told and stood by me through all of it. We were together for 3 years. I cheated on him and then broke it off, which he still doesn't forgive me for, and I think he still subconsciously holds it against me.
There's a difference between forgiving and forgetting.
Yes.
And you guys are still together. There's a strong possibility he has forgiven you, but maybe it's still something that hurts him when he thinks about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference.
Yeah. Continuing, the things I do remember is telling him more than once that girls were flirting with him and him being defensive that they were just being friendly. I remember getting my wisdom teeth removed and my mother being mad at me for asking him to come over to care for me. I remember a girl named Amber threatening to fight me over N. I remember our prom being ruined by his mother. I remember being in JROTC and becoming cadet captain. Everything else is pretty fuzzy.
That flirting with me thing, like girls flirting with men and him being like, no, they're just being friendly.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this a little bit on the podcast. A lot of men are very oblivious to that. Right. And the ones who aren't oblivious to it, that think every girl that's being nice to them is flirting, are considered creeps.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a medium balance there for us. Like you either be oblivious or you be a creep. And that's the way that looks. So like, there needs to be grace from people there. If he's not flirting back and he's not egging it on, can't think of a better word for that, then you need to understand that it's not a him problem, it's a them problem.
I still think that there should be steps taken there. If he isn't egging it on or reciprocating it, I think that just allowing someone to flirt with you when you're in a committed relationship is a problem.
Well, if he doesn't view it as flirting and thinks that they're just being nice to him, how is he supposed to know to correct it?
Mm-hmm.
You think that people being nice to me is being flirty, and I think they're just being polite. We've actually had these conversations.
I disagree with that. I have never said that I think people being nice to you is them flirting.
There have been situations where people have been nice to me, and you were like, they were totally into you, or they were checking you out, or whatever, and I didn't see it.
Oh, gotcha.
So the conversation was there. You didn't, you know what I mean? Like we had those conversations. But if I don't think that's a thing or I don't catch it, how am I supposed to put a stop to it until I'm made aware of it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like if I'm not reciprocating it, I'm not egging it on that person, it's a one-sided thing. They're talking to a wall. It's not communication.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying. I'm either not into it or too dumb to notice, whatever the situation may be. Good luck.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like that situation, there needs to be grace there from women because again, men aren't complimented very often. Like we're not used to being flirted with. It's not a normalized thing. So a lot of the time we just assume people are being nice because if we don't assume that they're being nice and we do think they're flirting and they are just being nice, we're creeps.
Mm-hmm.
So there's things that have to be taken in consideration in those moments.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on from that, from the recollections?
I would like to say that the amnesia aspect of all of that is, I'm sorry that this is going to come out the way that this is going to come out, but it's convenient
to
not be able to remember all of your trauma or your past if you were a shitty person. I'm not saying that she's saying that. I'm not saying that she's saying that she has amnesia just to make it convenient, but
right.
To have had a past and to just simply not remember your past means that the past didn't exist. Like you don't have to lay in bed at night thinking about the things that you said to people or like all of that goes away.
Right. There's no penance.
Yeah.
You could say.
There's also going to be a lack of growth,
Yeah.
right? Like I still think about that person at the DMV.
No, you do
I
not.
swear to God, I do. I swear to God, I do. At least once a week. I can't fucking believe I said that. As I walked out, you were such a pleasant person or whatever it was that I said. Like I felt so fucking stupid after that left my mouth. And it probably totally made her 80-year-old day, right?
Yeah.
But I think about that. So like those embarrassing moments shape our character. So like the next time somebody's pleasant like that, I'm not yelling it across the building. I will say, hey, I just want to appreciate or give you an acknowledgement that you were very pleasant to work with. And I really appreciate that. Like it's a very different, right?
Yeah.
That lady will probably never recognize me, but like that embarrassment that I felt after I had blurted that out as I was walking out sticks with me.
That's crazy.
Why are you looking emotional over there?
I don't know what's happening. My eyes are leaking.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I don't know.
What's happening, Catnip?
This usually happens when I yawn,
Oh, okay.
but I don't remember yawning.
I don't want to downplay the fact that she has amnesia. That sucks, but it is convenient because I can see a positive on both sides of that, or a positive and a negative to it.
It can be an out.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that those are your things that you can remember. I'd like to start with what I know of N's history before going into my life and the changes I've made. N was in an abusive household where his parents ended up splitting. He told me many times how his mother shit on men often and how all men were trash. She then found another man, and he had a family member in my town who was sick. They came to visit and get legal things sorted, which later turned into, oh, by the way, we're staying here. He was never able to tell his friends goodbye. We recently figured out part of him being reluctant to see the girls flirting with him was due to feeling isolated and lonely. I think we have accepted this, however, does not excuse him letting them flirt with him.
I have a really hard time with this.
Yeah. Why?
Because if he doesn't know that it's happening, or he didn't recognize it in the moment, how are you going to be mad at him for it? This is, I burned my hand on the stove. Well, how did you not know it's hot? And then getting in trouble for this shit, right? Like that's the mentality that falls behind that. If somebody is completely oblivious to something and is not feeding into it, and you're getting mad because of somebody else's actions, that's not his, what the fuck is wrong with you? If some girl was like, man, you look really good in that shirt. Oh, thanks, darling. You look great in that shirt too, right? Like that's a whole different conversation. And like we've had on the podcast, we've had the conversation of the difference between I like your shirt and you look good in that shirt.
Right.
It took me a long time to understand the difference, right? Because of the way that people talk. But in our conversations, I have been able to gain new perspective, and now the compliments look different, right? But in the event that I like your hat, oh great, you look great in that dress. That's inappropriate. I get that now. But seven years ago, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. I was just paying a compliment because a compliment was paid. Your words matter, right? So like in that situation, had a made up situation, but had that happened and I was wearing a right? Like if that was me and us in our relationship now, and I didn't understand the difference and you got mad at me because they said something, the getting mad at me would have been me saying it back. You look good in that dress. Because now I'm flirting back.
Yeah.
But if she was just like, I really like your hat, he, and I'm like, oh, thanks, and I'm going about my thing and they're continuing to talk to me they're being annoying. To you, they're flirting. You can't be mad at me because they're flirting, especially if you're there. Why don't you say something in the moment, right? Like, why did she allow this to happen and then get mad at him and then hold it against him all of this time, right? Because if, how would she even know that they were flirting with him if she wasn't there?
Right.
If I think a man is being inappropriate to you, we're not going to just let that ride. Because not only are you being inappropriate to my woman, you're being disrespectful as fuck to me standing here. So are you hurt? Is this one of those things like in Dazed and Confused where the guy gets punked down by Clint? You remember that? And he's like the whole alpha male guy. He's all mad at the party in the woods. And like he's storming around talking. He's like, you know what? Fuck that. Now I'm embarrassed and I'm going to go and fight him and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, is this your moment? Are you having a Dazed and Confused moment where you're regretting not throwing that punch and fighting the guy because you were disrespected in the moment? And now you're taking it out on your man because that's not right. This is the things that we lie about, lay in bed and think about at night. It's the DMV moments. It's all the things that like not having amnesia, you get to fucking work through and dwell on, and it makes you grow.
I think on the flip coin of that, if she has pointed out, like, for example, if it's a group of women that he mutually hangs out with, and she has pointed out that they're flirtatious and he hasn't stopped that from happening, and they're continuing to meet up in group settings and they're being inappropriate, and he likes that attention because he feels lonely or whatever the case may be.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Absolutely. So, okay, so let's talk about that then, because there's a level of, he needs to stop being around there if that's the case.
Right.
Right. If he doesn't have the balls to go, hey, what you're doing is inappropriate, not just to me, but it's disrespectful to my woman, and I don't appreciate it. So I need you to stop doing that. And he allows his need to get attention and feel validated and feel good from these other women override the relationship. The relationship's not a priority to him. His woman's not a priority to him. His own needs and attention is the priority. That's a whole other conversation and a whole bigger problem. The other side of that is if he is aware that or was not aware that they were flirting, became aware that they're flirting, said something, and the flirting continued, he needs to disassociate with that group of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that.
This all falls into the conversations that we've had over and over again about making sure that you prioritize the relationship and each other over everything else. If I need attention, I'm gonna just be like, I'm needy. I need like 30 minutes of just fawn over me, like make me feel something other than depressed, right? I'm not going to go outside of us to get that, because I don't want to ever destroy this. Like this is on an altar, on a shelf that I get to look at every day, that I light incense to and thank God for. Like this is a thing for me. I don't know. I get that a lot of people don't have that admiration for their partner the way that I do for you. And I'm not trying to like talk up our relationship right now, but this is the most important thing in my life.
I feel the same way. I've been in that relationship where I sought outside. I didn't say seeked. I almost said it. That was, wow, I'm getting good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where I sought outside attention, validation, whatever the case may be. And one, it ruined my relationships.
Every time.
Two, the guilt and shame that I would have knowing that what I did was detrimental to my relationship. And in the moment, I didn't realize how selfish it was, but now looking back, really selfish.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like I'm going around and sleeping with a bunch of people. This is posting things on the internet to seek attention from men to tell me that I'm hot. People I don't know, strangers on the internet, Instagram, whatever. Or I don't know, downloading random chat apps where there's not even a profile picture. You're just talking to strangers. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, broached a lot of things in past relationships because my needs weren't being fulfilled and I also wasn't communicating them. There was also a level of the person I was with didn't care about me.
Right. Well,
wasn't choosing good partners, but
so this is the difference between making excuses and being realistic about what was going on in your life that led you to make the decisions that you did.
Right.
And people are like, you can't make an excuse for cheating. They cheated. It's not an excuse. If you understand why somebody did something, you have new information there. It's data.
Yeah.
All of that information lets us make new informed decisions in life. So I don't think that, like in that stating, I don't think that you're making excuses for your behavior or that you're downplaying it. I think that you're able to go, okay, this happened, and this happened, this happened, this happened, and it's why I felt okay with doing X, Y, and Z.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's right or wrong in the moment, that was the data I had, and that's the decision I made.
Yeah. One way to look at it is cannibalism is not okay, but in extreme survival circumstances,
Shit, I'll eat a person.
Right? Like you're not gonna demonize somebody for that in a relationship where I don't feel human.
Right.
Or I don't feel like I matter.
Right.
I'm gonna do something that gives me a little bit of a dopamine response so I can go back to the shitty hell life that I'm living.
Yeah. And then you think about the amount of people who are in a relationship out of necessity.
Yeah.
And people won't admit that shit. But I think there are more people in relationships out of necessity than people who love their person. Right?
I think it started with like a facade of love.
Absolutely, lust.
And then it turned into now our bills are intertwined. We have kids together.
Right. It would be easier if we lived together. Be one rent.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can become so enmeshed in each other's lives that you're miserable as fuck, but you can't afford to separate. Yeah. And I mean, all of those are decisions though, right? Like You can really look back and take accountability in all of the things that you have done and be like, yeah, this happened. I made this choice, made this choice, made this choice. They did this, they did that, they did that. But they doing what they did doesn't really affect your life. It's your decisions. And so, but it comes down to the data.
Yeah.
You can't make an informed decision without data.
Mm-hmm.
So in that situation where you were like, they were treating me like I wasn't a person and I didn't matter. Well, if you don't feel like you matter, why would you
like
hold on to like the honor of a relationship? Mm-hmm. You're not being honored in a relationship.
Right.
That was a whole ass conversation.
That was continuing. I was told I hit him more than once. I would also use mocking tones and belittle him. I think that was due to my own household. However, again, it isn't an excuse for my behavior. I heavily believe due to this abuse I put him through, he still doesn't trust me. I would agree with that. Even if amnesia kicks in and you're on autopilot and you're disassociated from your body and you don't know what you're doing in the moment, this man's been abused. And I would believe it if he is having a hard time trusting this relationship and trusting the safety or reactions, or I can have this conversation without triggering her, or this conversation's not going to be worth it.
Yeah. There would definitely be learned behavior patterns for sure.
Yeah.
It was a good point. I wasn't sure I was agreeing with you at first.
Yeah.
But then when you came back around to having the conversations and being forthcoming and honest and being able to talk, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to take a moment and say I don't think this woman's a piece of shit.
She could be.
Right? Oh, yeah, she could be. I mean, I don't know her, but I think that a lot of therapy is necessary.
Absolutely.
If these are the things that you're going through and struggling with, emailing into a podcast is not going to fix your situation. I mean, this is not going to fix your situation, period. You're going to fix your situation.
Right.
But I don't believe that our advice is going to be able to break the barriers of the things that you experienced in your childhood.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not what we're here for.
Right.
When we do these emails, our goal is to try to help people learn how to talk to each other and like figure out problem solve for them and like show who we think is wrong in the situation. Her hitting him and belittling him and being mocking and shit, you were wrong in that situation.
Right.
But if that was in high school and you're fucking adults now, like you need to let that shit go. If you were doing that shit last week, we're still talking about last week, right? It's a very different conversation. If he's harboring all of that, what if, and all of that back then, he also needs to be going to therapy.
I agree. Continuing, I think my diagnosis is it really diagnoses? Diagnosi feels better.
Right.
Like octopus. I almost said octopi.
Yeah.
Octopuses. No, octopi. Diagnosi. There has to be somebody we can reach out to. Okay, I'm going to drop it. I think that they speak for themselves for the upbringing I had. I believe people when they tell me I was abusive, toxic, and manipulative. Knowing my mother and her being the influence I had, I absolutely believe them, and I wish I could take it all back. I did have my dad in my life. However, since he didn't have any parental rights to me due to being my stepdad, my mother used me as a pawn in her games. I wasn't with him regularly until high school. In 2015, I started therapy and was in for 2.5 years. While in therapy, I learned how to cope with my issues and how to slowly work on them, such as being afraid of being alone, doing anything alone. I used to be mad all the time. Nothing was ever my fault. I was the one who was raised wrong. I was the victim. They owed me. No one was allowed to be upset with how I did things because I didn't know any better. However, with therapy and a falling out with the friend group, I learned the hard way it was my own fault. My saying for life change, which I think you would find not appropriate, but it's close to you are allowed to be mad at what happened. However, how you react to what happened is what matters.
Respond.
Respond, yes.
Do not react. If you're reacting to things, you're emotionally elevated.
Correct. When I think of a reaction, I think of two chemicals coming together and something happening because of that.
Right.
A response is a meditated, controlled, conscious effort to divert from chaos.
All of this is past shit. And it sounds she said she was 15 when she was in therapy?
2015 is when that happened.
2015, okay. So that was still 10 years ago. It was a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happened in the last decade?
Right.
Because all those labels don't mean shit to me.
I agree. Yeah.
As I wrote in my book, no one's coming to save you. The very first chapter is labels, and it starts with fuck your labels.
Mm-hmm.
That shit doesn't mean anything to anyone other than you. I have all of these things. Nobody gives a fuck.
Right.
They care about how you treat them.
I am also curious, if you were in therapy for 2.5 years, why wasn't the amnesia worked on?
Well, from what I understand, amnesia normally happens from like extreme trauma or like blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
Because it's a brain injury.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, I don't know enough about amnesia to even speak on it.
Okay.
But if it was extreme trauma to the point where like her brain just blacked it all out, like that's hypnosis type therapy. Like you have to go deep as fuck to unlock all of that.
Right, but she's also having amnesia of beating on people.
Yeah.
Like, okay, at that point, that doesn't sound like amnesia. That sounds like a blackout.
Yeah.
And I guess
she did
that's
say
more
she was
of my
angry all the time.
question. Yeah. Oh, so that could have been like before therapy, maybe?
Could be.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, that was definitely before therapy.
No, just in the email it was. She didn't say if that was before or after
okay.
therapy.
I would assume because of the timeline of things. That
Yeah, no, she
therapy
said this
happened
is all
after.
over the place.
Okay. Well, that's not helpful.
Continuing.
Yep.
The world around me changed. I learned that yes, bad things happen to me, but that doesn't make me a bad person.
Doesn't excuse your shitty behavior either.
Yes. I am in fact broken, and the only person that can fix me is me. My first goal was to work on my meltdowns, which at the time I had no clue what an autistic meltdown was. I never want to physically harm another person out of anger ever again in my life.
Love that.
After that, it became understanding my feelings and learning to actually feel my feelings. Following that, it was accepting that people in the world around me can upset me, but it's how I choose to react/respond to that is the most important. Somewhere in all of that, I also learned to take accountability. Just because I didn't mean to hurt someone's feelings doesn't mean that I didn't, and I needed to accept that. That I am capable of hurting others even when I don't mean to. Within that, I learned that apologizing meant accepting accountability for what I had done and offering a solution to fix it, or asking how I can fix it or make it up to the person that I hurt. Oh, well, that answered my question about the amnesia and whatnot. Good on you for working on all of that. That's not easy things to try and get under control. It is so much easier to just be angry and lash out and fuck you for hurting me. I don't care if what I did hurt your feelings, or if I did hurt your feelings, well, I didn't mean to. Well, now I'm the victim because you're mad at me.
Or you deserved it.
Yeah. That's strength. I'm proud of you for getting through all of that. Lately, I've been working on my volume control and communication skills. Being autistic means I think and understand the world differently than everyone else.
Not everyone else.
Right. There are pockets of people.
There are a lot of, autism is becoming very, very common.
Yeah.
So but you do have your own uniqueness, your own like version of spicy brain.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Still not an excuse. That's masking. Right? And learning social cues and learning what is right and wrong and socially acceptable. But that also brings in the question of what is socially acceptable. Because when you go from culture to culture, the expectations are different, right? Yeah. That's a whole ass rabbit hole we can go down, but let's skip that.
Yeah. We can do a light example of cultural differences. In our household, it's to the point where like farting has been so normalized in front of each other that our daughter will say, excuse me, and then fan it.
Can't believe you just said that on the podcast.
Scott and Wakenya's household, you guys are going to the separate bedroom.
Yeah.
So
that's so funny.
There is very much different things for different homes.
Yeah, that
different
dinner,
people.
That dinner where they were like, we haven't farted in front of each other. It's like, how?
I told you guys about how the first time I farted in front of my husband, I was unconscious. I was sleeping. And that's how I learned I fart in my sleep.
Yeah. Second time that you farted in front of me, you were in the bathroom with the door closed and I heard it.
You were like, I heard that. I was like, no. I thought it was quiet because the door was closed.
That's funny.
Yep. Absolutely mortifying. Continuing. Being autistic means I think and understand the world differently than everyone else around me, and I tend to take things at face value. So I think you labeling yourself as autistic, even though you are, and saying that you think and understand the world differently than everyone else separates you from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And
it's very common with autistic people though.
Right. It can also be like I'm the center of the universe kind of thing. It could be nobody will ever understand what I'm going through. It's a lot of things to separate yourself that way. I am also somebody who takes things at face value. My husband has to explain jokes to me sometimes.
That's what I meant. The taking things at face value.
Yeah.
That's a very autistic thing.
Oh yeah, like
That's what I said. Well, that's not what you meant. Or that's what you said. That's not what I meant. Well, that's what you
Right.
said.
yeah.
Right.
That's a big thing for you when we're in a disruption.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I am a very say what you mean.
Yeah. I do say what I mean. It just doesn't compute in your brain.
Yeah.
Then we have to, I feel like when we're in a disruption, there's a miscommunication happening and we have to figure out the phrasing for each other to understand.
Yeah.
I feel like we're starting at opposite ends of the house and we both have to go through a maze.
To get to the center.
Yeah, but we're like on walkie-talkies trying to tell each other where to go, but we can't see the map.
Like playing It Takes Two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we need to do more of that. I enjoyed that with
we got to
you.
have internet.
Your incense holder didn't hold the incense.
I saw that. It pissed me off. I'm trying really hard to focus on it. There's also a cord on the ground that has a perfect loop that comes around.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't come back around to make an L. And I've been hyper fixating on it for the last 2 episodes. And I want to take my toe and curl it into an L, but I don't think I have enough cable.
Like a cursive L?
Yes. Do you see it?
I do see it, yeah. We got to finish this.
Spice brain.
We have like 30 minutes.
Yep, let's go.
Okay. Take things literally. The volume control has to do with the fact that I tend to yell when I don't feel heard. I even picked up stopping in the moment to correct myself and apologize to him when I think I'm getting loud. I feel unheard often with N. However, he has asked me to work on that because yelling causes him to shut down. At one point, it seemed as though he would do it on purpose to trigger a meltdown.
Well, if you were yelling at him, of course he's going to ignore you.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to participate in a conversation. I looked at our child the other night. Our son was raising his voice at me, and I started raising my voice back like I was going to square up with this child. And then like I heard my voice go up and I was like, hold on. I shut my eyes and I was like, wait a minute. And he stopped talking. I was like, I'm not doing this with you. You're not going to talk to me this way. We can either stand here and have a calm conversation or you can take that to your bedroom and I'm going to keep reading my book or whatever I'm doing to enjoy myself here. Don't come over here with all that. I had a whole epiphany moment. I would be like, N, I'm not doing this. Why are you doing that?
Should have smacked the bottom of his chin
Yeah.
while he was mid-yell.
I'm your mama.
It's not abuse. It's funny.
It's not a hard
just
smack.
hearing the teeth go. Yeah. I do that shit to him. It's not abuse. I do it to him all the time. I walk
Right.
by, he's got his mouth open.
Yeah,
touch
he's
mouth.
a mouth breather
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yep. One of these days, I'm going to fuck around and do that. And he's going to bite his tongue and feel like a total piece of shit. But it's funny hearing his teeth chatter.
He finds it funny too.
He gets the jaw smack and she gets the ear.
The ear poke.
Yeah.
I hate both of those things. Please don't ever do the jaw thing to me. My tongue is never resting where it should be. Like I just realized that doing the chomp as you were making the motion. My tongue really is just taking up all the real estate it can in there.
That's probably why you got a lisp.
Yeah, I learned from our son's speech therapist that when words are not pronounced right, it's because the tongue doesn't know how to move properly in the mouth, which also explains why there are a lot of eating mishaps. So like if you bite your tongue often, bite your cheeks often, bite the fork, whatever. What?
You're so what you're saying is you're 30 years old and don't know how to operate your mouth.
All of that energy. In a roundabout way, yeah.
That's funny. What that mouth do? A whole bunch of shit that it shouldn't. I can't chew. I bite my tongue. I can't say therapist without on it.
Snake sounds funny.
That day that you were like, I don't have to make fun of the slithery snake thing. It's just how I talk. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to it. You said we had 30 minutes.
Okay. If somebody can screen grab a photo of me flicking my husband off, that'd be dope. Thank you. Oh, he shuts down. Sometimes she thinks he does it on purpose to trigger a meltdown. However, I think it is just a lot of miscommunication.
I think that's probably the more Fair assessment.
I agree. The way I communicate is by stating or asking something, then bringing up an analogy when I think they misunderstood me. I will forever bring up analogy after analogy to try and get someone to understand where I'm coming from, how I feel, or what I mean. Girl, I think that we're on like the same autistic spectrum right now. I do that as well. I also have issue with volume control. I've worked on pretty much everything that you've talked about.
But it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. And you're not alone in this. So you don't think differently than everybody else.
That's what I meant earlier.
You think like Peaches from the To Be Better podcast.
Now you just got to get your behavior the same.
Yeah, now you just got to,
Fix it.
brain's got to catch up with the mouth kind of thing. What?
Does that mean you're going to stop biting your forks?
Fuck you. That felt personal.
That shit's funny.
But I think my biggest issue.
You were really going to keep doing this, huh?
What do you mean?
You're going to give me more ammo?
Well, I've never talked about this because it's never been brought up, but like I really struggle with this. I have a hard time chewing gum.
Oh, shit. Why do you have a hard time chewing gum? Do you bite your cheeks?
Both. I bite my tongue and I bite my cheeks. It depends on, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what it is. But yeah, sometimes it happens in succession. Like I'll bite my cheek and I'll startle myself and then I'll bite my tongue.
Double whammy of fuck you to your mouth.
Yeah, I struggle. It's hard. It's hard over here. Doing things with this. Thank you for giving me the space to get that out.
Oh, fuck.
There are times where I'm just sitting on the couch. You're holding my feet or something and I like adjust and I bite my tongue. I'm like, why were you there? Like, go back home in your little nook.
So funny.
Oh my goodness. Okay, continuing. I am going to challenge the emailer to, instead of coming up with an analogy when there's a misunderstanding, find a new way to phrase what you're trying to phrase. Don't tell a story. Just say the same thing again with different words to try and make it hit his brain right.
Yeah.
Continuing.
That's communication. That's learning to communicate.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, continuing. I spent most of my life not being heard or understood. Even when I think I'm speaking neurotypical, I am still wrong. Even when I think I am saying something as straightforward as I like smoothies, I am still somehow misunderstood. I'm at a complete loss as to what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so I want to pause. I don't think there's any way to misinterpret I like smoothies.
No, there's not.
Right? Unless I'm like, hey, I'm going to tropical smoothie. Do you want something? I like smoothies. Dope. That doesn't answer my question. I don't understand. Right?
There's her analogy. Time to do another one because that one was wrong.
Again, go.
Right.
So I don't think it's just as simple as you're being misunderstood. I think it could be that you're not articulating yourself properly to the people around you. I have a whole language within inside of myself. And there are times where we're sitting together in dead silence for 3 hours and I'll say something out loud and you're like, what?
Yeah, you do that a lot.
What did you just say? And then I'll have to be like, hang on, I got to rethink that. You're not inside my brain. And then I have to bring it back out with, I feel like I'm pulling paragraphs of explanation where if I could just telepathy.
Be a lot easier.
My goodness, could you imagine? You want a USB plug into my brain real quick?
The Matrix.
All right, continuing. I am at a complete loss as to what I'm doing wrong. As an example, the other day I brought up how it makes me uncomfortable that RFK is wanting to put autistic people on a mandatory registry. He said he agreed that autism needed to be studied and used other verbiage that sounded like he agreed with RFK. I said what he is saying is scary and makes me uncomfortable. I explained that it sounded like he was agreeing with RFK and that led him into being defensive and us having a conversation about him being defensive. Okay, so I want to pause before continuing. Just in that little breakdown, I know there's more context to this. But
There's a lot more context there.
Right, I just want to break down this little piece real quick before I forget what I want to say. So instead of saying, what you're saying to me is scary and you're making me uncomfortable. I feel like you're agreeing with RFK right now. Am I correct in that assumption? That's a yes or no answer.
Okay. So how about a different perspective? Unless he's like, yeah, autistic people should be put on a list.
Yeah.
He wasn't agreeing.
Right. I do think studies need to be done.
Agreed.
There needs to be understanding of sensory issues. You know, what it's like to have the processing systems of an autistic person. I think that we are way better problem solvers and look at things differently. Of course, like we said, there's a spectrum of it, so it goes everywhere, but there's a superpower within us that, and detriments,
right,
that need to be better understood, and handicaps within this that needs to be properly assisted.
Yeah, I think that autism is a lot more common than people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the more it's understood and the more it's studied, the better the coping mechanisms will be. And maybe in 20 years, kids who have autism at school will have a much easier time because it's been studied.
Right.
But again, it's one of those things that like she was afraid that, look, I don't think anybody should be put on a list for anything. That's just one step closer to like,
sex offenders should be on the list.
no, they should be in a wood chipper.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Oh, fantastic. Okay,
Right?
so there's an alternative to the list.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. There are, but being put on a list like that, that's like,
I don't want you keeping track of me like that.
there's no reason for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That's what she was getting at. Like people who have autism should have studies based off of that. There should be a whole lot of research being done.
And understanding and
But what do you need a list for? So you can round us up later? Like that's where my brain goes with that shit.
yeah, when I hear list, I think of Nazi Germany.
Same.
So, yeah. Continuing on, in the end, he was upset that I took his words as scary and heard that he agreed with RFK when he didn't agree with the registry.
It's because you weren't listening. You heard what you wanted to hear.
You heard what you needed to hear to have the reaction.
Right.
Nervous response, whatever.
I think she was looking to hear, yeah, that's fucked up, and wanted the validation.
Right.
And when he wanted to have a conversation, she didn't get the validation. She felt invalidated. And that's where that rabbit hole went down.
Yeah.
You can't have a conversation with somebody like that and expect them to just agree with you.
Right. If you're just looking for praise and yeah, that's a smart thought. Yeah, I agree with that. That feels more like a yes man than actually having a conversation about what's going on, you know?
I don't do small talk. So if you were like, did you hear about this? That sucks. And that was the end of your conversation and there's not a back and forth. Like I just keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you want to have an intellectual conversation with me and we're going to have a dialogue back and forth about what I'm for that.
Oh yeah. I'll give you 3 sentences. That's kind of the thing I'm on after all of the group interactions that we've had. I'm not going to facilitate and breathe air into a conversation that somebody's not willing to also do.
Right.
So I'll give you 3 sentences and I'm not just like, yeah, oh, that's cool. How's the weather? I'm trying to engage in conversation. If after 3 sentences, you're still giving me 1 words or that's neat.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that as uninterested. You're not wanting to talk right now. And I'm going to move on to another conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
But in that situation, if she was just trying to get validation because she was afraid in the moment and she needed security, like, hey, baby, that's not going to happen or whatever.
Right.
That's very different than having a conversation about what's actually going on. And he probably took it as trying to have a conversation about what's actually going on.
Yeah. It's okay to say I need validation about this because I'm scared.
Right. I don't want to be on a list.
Yeah. Can we live underground before that happens?
Yeah.
I would like to believe that I wouldn't get defensive about me being misheard. If it created an argument, I would be upset about it, right? Because that's not what I said. You took it and you ran with it. And there was no, is this what you meant? I heard this. Can you repeat that one more time? There was no trying to clarify. You just got upset because you heard what I said, but through a lens of fear in this case, right? Like you said, it wasn't what she was seeking in the moment. And if it led into a whole argument and now we're having a whole debate about feelings and I wronged you and you're upset because now you don't feel safe with me because I agree with RFK, what is happening right now?
This is also one of those things where it comes to politics that you can't just have a conversation. because you either have to agree or you can't have a conversation. If we're not on the same page, we got to fight about it because it's politics. It's fucking stupid to me.
Yeah. Continuing.
Yep.
I then repeated myself and followed with the words he used and asked how that doesn't sound like he was agreeing. Then he finally sees and says, I can see where you got that impression. I followed with, I have no idea your intention or what you meant. Instead of getting mad or defensive at my reaction, why not ask, why am I saying that?
There you go.
How about instead of having a reaction, ask a clarifying statement? It sounds like you're agreeing with RFK right now. I'm getting a little bit emotional. Can you clarify?
You could even remove that I'm getting emotional part.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're agreeing with him. Are you agreeing with him?
Right. I think saying I'm getting emotional is more of a, you know where I'm at mentally right now. Like I'm not okay. If I'm becoming emotional, I'm not in the right state of mind. So if you're going to try to have a logical conversation with Peaches and I'm like in the third evolution of trying not to lose my mind and panic, you're not talking to Peaches. You're talking to me trying to cope and have a conversation and work through what I'm working through in the moment without blowing up on you. Does that make sense?
I think this is kind of a dumb conversation. The RFK thing.
Yeah.
So hear me out, right? Because this is, it obviously wasn't dumb to her. She was getting worked up over it.
Mm-hmm.
But having that fear of what if is paying a debt you don't owe. We don't know if I got to be honest, I only heard about this because of other media outlets using that phrase. I haven't actually gone back to see or read what was said. So I don't know if that was actually stated verbatim or not, or the context before and after of what was being stated.
Right.
So I don't know. I would want to go back and look and find the information, have an intelligent conversation about it. But even if there were lists coming, being a spicy brain person, I'm not going to get worried about that list. There's nothing I can do about it. So why am I going to get all up and freaked out and then have a fight with my partner over something I have absolutely no control over?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you really think about that, you are creating conflict with the person that you love over something you can't control.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I'm still hung up on like that, her sentence of, if he saw my reaction, why didn't he say, why did you say that? Like that sounds like deal with me.
Right.
You need to reel me back in because I can't reel me back in.
Or you should know.
Right. So I'm hung up on that just because of the way that was phrased and it came across and the thinking in it. You should be the one to hold back your reactions. And in moments where there's elevation and you're unaware of what's going on, then a check in the moment of, babe, that's not what's happening here. You need to take a deep breath, but you also can't become defensive about that. If you're becoming worked up over a situation and you misinterpreted what was said or you misinterpreted whatever was said and it triggered you or upset you. Oh, fuck. Where was I going? What was I saying, babe? Please tell me you were paying attention.
I was paying attention, but I'm also holding on to my own thought that I've been waiting to say. So
I was saying something along the lines of that. If he comes to you and you've already had a reaction, you weren't able to stop it in the moment, and he hits you with, babe, you need to calm down. That's not what's happening. You can't become defensive about that. And you can't begin to make excuses for why you're acting the way that you're acting. That deep breath needs to happen. That's the end of it. I don't know where else I was going with that. I'm pretty upset that I lost my thought.
I'm sorry that you lost your thought.
It's fine.
What would have happened if he did agree with RFK? And you get mad and blow up and you guys have a fight about it. Do you think that you fighting about it is going to change his opinion of it? Or do you think that if you would have been able to have a calm, logical conversation of why you think it's a bad idea versus why he thinks it's a good idea, and you guys are able to find some sort of common ground on a logical basis, do you think maybe one of you might have had your mind swayed? Mm-hmm. Because having an argument and blowing up on each other is not going to change the other person's mind.
No.
It's going to make them root themselves in their opinion, whether right or wrong, and you will not gain any ground in that situation. The things that people choose to have conflict over is absolutely insane to me.
I agree.
Because it is a choice.
Mm-hmm. Continuing.
Yes.
Maybe I was completely wrong, but at the time it seemed right. The other things, we lack intimacy, like all of them. I think this is due to the lack of trust in me. Mentally, we don't just talk about things. We always end up in a debate leading to a possible fight or him becoming defensive. Then it turns into an argument about whether he is or isn't being defensive.
So he doesn't have an ability to speak freely to you.
Right.
Because everything comes down to, it becomes an argument. he gets defensive, and then he has to explain himself as to why he got defensive and how you're feeling. That's been the cause. That's been every single one of the scenarios this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So why would he talk to you?
Right.
There's no safety there. I don't want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to explain myself or worry about how I might phrase something that makes you fly off the fucking handle.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sitting in silence.
Yeah. I can see why there's no intimacy. If I felt like I had to tiptoe around somebody, I'm not going to go out of my way to have physical touch or quality time or words of affirmation, those kinds of things.
Well, everything starts with your words.
Yeah, it does.
So if I'm not safe speaking to you, I'm not safe doing anything else either. So why bother?
Yeah. Continuing, touch is well, touch and go. Recently, I've been trying to initiate touch first. I was stuck for a very long time on why he doesn't want to do this for me. Why do I need to ask him for it and do it first? He has only called me beautiful 3 times in the 5 years that we've been together.
So it's just not who he is. It's not how he talks.
Right. I have asked, okay, so wait, hang on. So he's called you beautiful 3 times in 5 years. What else does he call you?
That's a good question. Is he loving you in his own way and you're not catching it?
Like, are you, I don't know, Pookie Bear or Honeybee? My husband calls me Hotness Everdeen, and that makes me feel like an Amazonian badass. If he does have words that are affectionate towards you that aren't beautiful, but you need to hear that you're beautiful from him, then you need to bring that up in conversation. I have asked him why, and he doesn't really have an answer. When I choose to get dressed up for myself, he does tend to comment, well, doesn't someone feel pretty? I didn't think that was a compliment.
It's not.
Maybe it is meant to be.
Did you ask him? That sounds like a statement, not a compliment.
Yeah.
That sounds like not a pleasant thing.
Why?
Doesn't somebody feel pretty? It's like saying, oh, you're vain. Look at the vanity.
Yeah.
Look at you doing yourself up over there for nothing, right? Like that doesn't sound like a compliment at all.
That's not how I heard that. But maybe it's because of the relationship that we have. You know, if I was in the bathroom getting ready for a date night or something, or you were coming home from work and I dolled myself up and I walked out of the room and you hit me with that, I would check my shit or something for you.
I wouldn't say that to you.
Yeah.
I would tell you that you look good.
Yeah.
Or you're beautiful. Or, you know, I love your ass in that dress. Like,
yeah,
I'm going to be direct and I believe in being direct. So saying something like, doesn't somebody, however they worded that, the phrasing's gone, but.
Well, doesn't someone feel pretty?
Yeah. That takes me completely out of it and makes it solely about how you feel about you.
Yeah, I think it'd be like a note on confidence, especially if that's something I was trying to work on.
Yeah, maybe. I still wouldn't talk to you that way.
No, I get that. Yeah. I'm just trying to give perspective. Continuing, I don't think that was a compliment. Maybe it was meant to be. I saw it more as making a statement. Of course, I feel pretty. As for dating, we have recently started doing date nights. For a while, we had no time to ourselves and was actually a fight to have date night. Again, I asked why he didn't want to have this time with me, and he said he was worried it would start more fights.
Well, that sounds like an honest assessment because I said the same thing earlier. And that's based off of her side of things.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with everything that was listed out. Knowing that therapy was done and, you know, she doesn't hit him anymore or those kinds of things. Had like a little PTSD moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking about how she said that she used to hit him and mock him and belittle him and those kinds of things. Yeah. That just triggered a little PTSD. That fucks somebody up. Those things fuck somebody up.
Yep. And the behavior patterns that are learned in those moments stay.
And you guys are now at a point where everything is an argument. He doesn't even think that date nights can happen because there's going to be a fight.
Not only does he think that everything is an argument, he thinks that everything is going to be an argument that's going to be his fault and there's not going to be any accountability or change because it always comes down to why he did what he did.
Right.
Never about what she did that she can correct. It's always got to be him that has to change. And those are her words.
Yeah.
The way that she's explained the way the arguments go.
So we are almost at noon. We have like a page left of her email. Do you want to do a part 2 for his and we can record it later today?
Yeah, let's finish hers.
Okay.
And then we do have to leave.
Continuing, our sex life is touch and go. We are at odds. It's back and forth on one of us feeling like we always initiate and it's never reciprocated. I personally don't feel like he is even attracted to me. So I would believe that, right? If your guys' relationship has been this tumultuous and everything is a fight, if every time I went to my husband, a conversation was a fight, I wouldn't want to be with him intimately, sexually. I don't want to hold hands with you. I don't want to give you a kiss on your neck.
We're at odds.
Right.
Before you get back into that, I want to touch on the always initiating thing.
Mm-hmm.
The always initiating, if you want sexy time and you refuse to initiate because you feel like you always initiate, you don't want sexy time. You want to feel wanted.
Yes.
And there's a difference. And that's the conversation. Not I always initiate sex. It's that in our relationship over the last 6 months, I haven't felt desired or wanted by you. And I'm needing that. I need to feel wanted.
Right.
It's a very different conversation than you never initiate sex.
Right. You don't touch me anymore.
Right.
Continuing, there is absolutely no foreplay at all. I admit I didn't really start it either. I have been a child about it and not wanting to be the bigger person and do it first. I have told him I would just love it for him to lust after me and ask why he doesn't. I don't really get a straight answer. I have been feeling unattractive and realized that I need to ask him what foreplay looks like to him. Wearing lingerie is not in the cards. I tried and it ended up being a very uncomfortable encounter. I have also tried walking around naked, flashing him, and even wearing an oversized tee and thigh-high socks. Emotional intimacy, I am unsure where we stand, and maybe that's why everything else isn't working.
It is exactly why everything else is not working.
You don't know where you stand with emotional intimacy. This man can't come to you for anything. You guys have damn near zero emotional intimacy. You might have some because he doesn't talk much, but I'm kind of shocked you don't know where you guys are at with that. Continuing, I know he is struggling and am feeling overworked and depressed. I know that then messes with sexual stuff, so I understand that.
So she is really equating sex to intimacy, right? Okay, just can you read that last thing one more time, please? Because this is really important for everybody. This is important.
I know he is struggling, feeling overworked and depressed, and I know that then messes with sex stuff, so I understand.
So her intimacy is sex.
No, we started. Oh, I guess so. Emotional intimacy.
Right, and then it went
sex,
right back to sex. If I'm stressed out and depressed and I've got a lot going, okay, this is real life happening in the last month of our life. I am stressed the fuck out. My back has been bad. We've got 9 different things going on with the garden. I've got business shit going on. Jeff Graham's out of town. Money, debt, future land, paying people off. Like, I am under a fuck ton of stress right now. Just the way that it's been. It's been the entire month of June. On top of trying to do everything else that we're doing. I have not allowed depression to win. Microdosing. And meditating and having conversations. But that intimacy that I get in holding your foot or laying on top of you or cuddling or holding your hand in the car, all of those moments of I'm not alone, that this person's fucking got my back no matter what, is intimate. It does not get any more intimate than that. If you can't come to your person with your depression and your sadness and your heartache and your stress and all of the things that are fucking kicking you in the teeth in life, you're not in the right relationship.
Right.
You're not safe. You are doing this by yourself. And if you're doing this by yourself, why are you fucking doing it with somebody else? I would not. I have been in that situation and I would never, ever live in that situation again.
No, hell no.
I have a moment of I don't like something and I'm a kid. I'm a fucking child when I come to you. Because I'm giving it all. You're a nurturing being. Sometimes I need to be nurtured. I need my wounds cleaned to make sure they're not infected, and then I'm going back into the battle. That's the way that we are structured as men and women to perform. And if I can't come to you to get my wounds cleaned and to fucking decompress for a second to get ready to go back out there, I'm gonna fucking die out there. There is no intimacy.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah. You know, elaborating more on that, he has tried to come to her and it's just resulted in arguments. So continuing that, going back out there and war, coming back, getting nurtured and whatnot. If you're injecting ammonia into the IV, it's not going to come back to you.
Right.
I'm either going to suffer and die or I'm going to go see another medic.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me that she doesn't see the intimacy in that. Because to her, that just went right back to sex.
Yeah.
There is nothing more intimate than me being able to have conversations with you about all of my ugly and my broken and getting bandaged back up and like picked up and loved and hugged and you got this, babe, go team, whatever, right? Like that is as intimate as it gets to me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's just a me thing, but that's way more intimate than sex. Like that's a role that like I will never give to another human being. That is your fucking job.
Continuing, I do my best to keep the house clean and do most things at home, taken care of, so he has less to worry about. I am thinking about just taking over dinner. We used to cook together, and at some point, it got to either he cooks or I cook. I'm not sure how it got that way. I still ask if he needs help when he cooks, and it's always, I've got it.
I know how it got that way. Your intimacy is gone.
That would break my heart. Yeah. He works roughly 10 hours a day, and I have 2 part-time jobs. We also juggle parenting our 10-year-old girl. I have sent him videos of skits from Jimmy Knowles to try and get him to see where I'm coming from. Who's Jimmy Knowles?
He's a relationship guy on TikTok.
Okay. I have also tried to get him to listen to you guys. I even wrote down the check-in list, and he was against it and believed that I would use the information against him.
Wow.
Oh, that's heartbreaking to hear.
He doesn't trust you.
Right. Like there is. Since he says he can see his own videos on relationships and has seen Chris come up in his feeds, I brought up emailing you guys and he said that I should if I think it would help. So here we are. I'm sure there is accountability in here that I'm missing and I would really appreciate it being pointed out to me.
We did.
I want this to work. I know he can be so much more than he is now.
But can you?
Right. That I was expecting. I know I have areas I can grow on.
Right.
I know I can be so much better. He's worth trying to figure these things out.
She again made it about him.
Made it about him. Yeah. I love him and not just what he can provide me. I want to grow with him. I am hoping that fixing the communication issue will also fix the other things in our relationship. Thank you for taking the time to read all of this.
Well, I mean, we touched on everything. Hopefully you gained something of value from this email. Do you have anything you want to add to this?
I do not. That was a lot for my brain.
Okay. So guys, if you enjoyed this content, part 2 will be coming the following Monday from whenever this releases.
Yes.
So tune in to hear his side of the story. As always, guys, you are the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.